Hi, my name is Holly Lavoie, and I'm the Program Coordinator for South Carolina INBRE. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the pilot projects that are available for faculty this year. These projects are designed to span the period of September 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2026, and there are no no-cost extensions, meaning that the money must be spent during that period. We have 3 types of pilot projects for faculty this year. They include a Cures Award, Launch Awards, and the one I want to talk about here, the Bioinformatics Pilot Project, like we've had in years past. Some important dates for you to remember are the first date is the letter of intent deadline. You must submit a letter of intent if you intend to submit a full application. These will be due March the 3rd, 2025 by 5 p.m. You can locate the letter of intent link under the funding and pilot project tabs. For the letter of intent, you just submit a descriptive title of your project and also up to 4 sentences describing your project. We really want to make sure that your project is related to biomedical sciences. The next date is April the 4th. This is the day that your full application will be due with all the components and a signed cover sheet signed by your institutional official. This year we have available up to 4 awards for our primarily undergraduate institutions and up to 3 awards for our comprehensive research universities in the state. So let me tell you a little bit more about our bioinformatics pilot projects. We have had this type of project for several years. These projects should involve collection and or analysis of large data sets. We anticipate there will be a collection of large data or use of large data sets that will require or some type of computational analysis. And pretty much anything with an omics in the end, like genomic data, transcriptomic data, proteomic data, are eligible for this type of award. South Carolina INBRE has several focus areas within the biomedical sciences. These are pretty flexible. One of the components of the BIPP award required is that there has to be student training. You need to train at least 1 or more students, and these can be an undergraduate or graduate student depending on your university, what the type of student you have at your university, and also postdoctoral fellows if your university has postdoctoral fellows. The budget is for up to $15,000 for 1 year, so you want to write your budget for 1 year, and there is an option for a competitive renewal for a second year of funding. So the best place to find out more about our pilot project programs is our South Carolina INBRE website. On our website, underneath the funding tab, there are tabs for the DRPP-RP, which are the research projects, and the DRPP-PPs, which are the pilot projects. So if you click on the pilot project tab, you'll get additional information about the requirements for the awards and the other pilot project awards. You'll also find the letter of intent link and the proposal submission link on this website. There's also a link for the standard forms required by the application. Also on this website, there's a link to explain who's eligible to apply for these awards and instructions on how to prepare the award. There's also some additional forms like the BioSketch form needs to be filled out for key personnel. We show the different components that need to be included in the proposal and page limits for each section. So please pay attention to the page limits and don't exceed them. The research strategy, there's no particular form that needs to be used, and this can be up to 6 pages. It doesn't need to be 6 pages. You could have a 4 or 5 page research strategy if that is what you need to fully describe your project to reviewers. There's also information here about vertebrate animals. There's also a drop-down with information about what composes human subjects research Because this is a one-year project, human subjects research is not allowed. It's because it takes a really long time for us to get approvals for human subjects research for any of our application by NIH. You might have human materials as part of your project, and this might include human cells or samples that may not be classified as human subjects research. And you can determine this by going to the human subjects information on the pilot project website and going to the link to a worksheet that will take you through a flow chart that will help you determine if your specimens fall under the category of human subjects research. If they don't qualify as human subjects research, then that material is okay for this proposal. If your proposal plans to have vertebrate animals, your protocol for animal use needs to be approved by your university IACUC committee. You don't need to have this approval at the time of submission, but if you are not already approved to do the vertebrate animal research described in your application, you should submit your animal protocol to your institutional IACUC committee for review as soon as possible. There will be a deadline of July 18th for submission of approval letters for the animal protocols that are part of your application. What happens to your application after you submit it through the South Carolina INBRE portal? First, there's an initial screening by our South Carolina Administrative Corps to make sure all the critical elements are contained within the application packet. Then your grant is sent out to a panel of scientific reviewers. Usually there's 3 reviewers, and they will read your proposal and score it and have reviewer comments on a score sheet. When the reviews come back, they're collated by my office and they are sent to our South Carolina INBRE External Advisory Committee. What this committee will do is they will do an additional review. They will look at the reviewers' comments and scores, and then they will provide recommendations as to funding. And those applications with the top scores will be recommended for funding up to the number of applications we can fund. After the External Advisory Committee makes their recommendation, our program director, Dr. Edie Goldsmith, will contact applicants as to whether their grant has been recommended for funding or not. If you're recommended for funding, then your application goes to NIH and NIGMS for final approval before funds can be released. If you have any questions about submission or formatting or any other sort of general information, you can contact our business manager, John Clarkson, at the email address shown here. If you have other questions, please feel free to contact me at this email address. Good luck with your proposal.